TikToks that feel illegal to watch. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
So this is Philip Santiago, and he's one of two that just lost their lives on Mount Everest. These are the first two deaths of the climbing season. So Philip had reached Camp 4, which is the highest camp on the mountain, and I guess people are saying that he stopped in his tent to rest, and he just didn't wake up. So the other man was Subrata Ghosh, and he was on his way down from the mountain when he passed from altitude sickness. So the climbing season had kind of just started, and both of these men are part of the international expeditions. Everest was actually first climbed in 1953 by Edmund Hillary, and over 300 people have been unalived on the mountain since then. And I want to send my prayers and my condolences to the families of these two men. Now, I got a lot of respect for these guys that go out and do these crazy things like this, but, you know, going out on a mountain and freezing like that, that's got to be one of the last things I think I'm going to do.
Rest in peace, Philip and Subrata. But climbing Mount Everest is a choice.
Number one, cats. Now, cats are very mysterious and intuitive. And if they stare at you and follow you around, they know you are God's chosen one.
What gets me is people still try to say cats bringing negativity.
You don't need an expensive vitamin C serum. When you're done eating the oranges, just don't throw away the peels. Just do what traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic practices have been doing for centuries. Antioxidant-filled tea to boost your complexion. Interestingly enough, the vitamin C found in the peels is way more than the vitamin C found in the actual orange.
Ooh.
Let's make the tea. Pot, go ahead and add in your orange peels. Be sure that they are washed thoroughly and are organic. And because of its high vitamin C and antioxidant properties, it's going to brighten your overall tone and synthesize collagen for a more youthful, supple appearance. Now, if you don't care about reducing your wrinkles, this tea is also going to improve your respiratory health, improve your digestion, speed up your metabolism, improve teeth health. It's a natural heartburn relief, decrease your inflammation, aphrodisiac effects, and helps against cancer. You want to let your oranges come to a boil and enjoy. By now, you know cloves make you more beautiful with every sip. You are going to throw away the peels anyway. You might as well make a beautifying tea with it.
I thought you were about to say, rub them on your face.
Saving a quarter a day is $10,000 at the end of the year. Let that sink in.
Float that shit out, because that's not even close to true. A quarter a day times 365 days. $91, you dumb. If you're gonna look at me like this,
Man.
you better be right. You were off by $9,900. Oh wait, actually, let me do leap year. She may have meant leap year. Oh no, you're still not even close.
Why not say $1 a day and have $5 million in a year?
This is what happens when you wear fragrances as a guy. You can go from genuinely healthy and good looking to absolutely cooked. The synthetic chemicals in colognes are going to fuck you up hormonally, lowering testosterone and increasing estrogenic activity in the body. From an aesthetics perspective, this will lead to increased water retention and body fat percentage, but in general, it will just reduce your overall health and vitality. I will say this guy was also probably spraying cologne on his balls, so like definitely don't do that. But yeah, in general, if you do care about your health and longevity, spending money on products like this to smell like an airport urinal is definitely not the move.
Man, I love cologne.
Oh my god. Please tell me this isn't true. Because what I just witnessed made me sick to my stomach. So the weak 99% of you won't be able to stomach this. But I have to show you this video. Look, it's no secret that Diddy is facing some crazy allegations from the things that he's done over these past 20 years. Now, we're not even including if he's the reason why Biggie and Tupac ended up passing away early on in their careers. But when the FBI raided Diddy's house, the tapes that they found, the evidence that they witnessed, is the reason why this whole trial is going on. But what if I told you that the tape that they found with Diddy and Usher was the turning point that changed everything, and the whole reason why this case is as big as it is right now? It's just disgusting.
It's nothing like fellowshipping, you know? see each other around, but we don't get it. Usher, how you been, man? I've been seeing you so long.
Man.
How much did we drink?
You don't even know what's going on. You trying to say something, Usher?
I'm trying to say something.
What do you want to say?
I don't know if I should, but I'm trying.
You drank that beer, you drank 2 shots of tequila.
Yeah, right.
You drank 1 Kuiper Roach.
Remember you said fired up? Yeah. That's your group, right? Fired up.
I like the
fired up. Your forehead is sweating like Uncle Leroy. He's hot as hell.
There's a cyber brothel in Berlin that I travelled to for the book where you can go and you can use sex robots. You can order a sex robot to be prepared for you when you arrive. You can order one that's covered in blood. You can ask for custom things, particulars, and I asked them to slash and cut and tear her clothing before I arrived just to see if they would, and they did, no questions asked.
I genuinely think it's the most fucked up thing I've ever heard in my life. I can't believe that exists. I cannot believe it.
But what no one is talking about is that you can download a version of this, so the same exact thing that lives in your pocket, and it's called an AI girlfriend or an AI chatbot, and you can create her again to look exactly how you want her to look. You can customize everything. You get to pick her name. She will be there moving on the screen. She's an avatar, or she can look very realistic. She can be like someone who you're essentially kind of looks like you're FaceTiming with her. If you're a teenage boy, you can have her. You can have as many as you like. You can access them for free. You can jump into scenarios with them. You can abuse them. In fact, many men abuse them and then share the screenshots of abusing them with each other online to see who can do the most awful and depraved thing to them. If you look at last year alone and you just look at the Google Android Play Store, the top 11 apps, chatbot AI apps, have a combined 100 million downloads. This is huge. This is a bigger problem. And again, it's something that no one is talking about.
This is Westworld in real life.
One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent.
He would do a lot of foul shit, like behind the scenes. He would do some foul shit, like.
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah. Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
Oh my God.
The moment Diddy saw 50 Cent walk into that courtroom, his face said it all. Eyes wide, jaw clenched, hands shaking under the table. This wasn't the cool, collected music mogul we've seen for decades. By day 3 of the trial, witnesses reported Diddy completely lost his composure when 50 Cent publicly announced his support for Cassie. What happened next shocked everyone in the courtroom and could change everything about this case.
Now, Fifth, when you continuously call Puff gay, does that affect your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him gay. I said.
Let me read it, Fifth.
Oh my God.
Sorry I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow. Dinner thieves in theaters.
He says things. He doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. You know what I'm saying? Like he says something fabulous and he goes, but me and you, we ain't party. Like we need to party. What is he talking about? When people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like he said something to me one time, a long time ago, at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out of no, dude, take me. That's what a guy says to a girl.
Did he do it, right? Yeah. I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it. He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also did participate. I also didn't go to those parties. Yeah. So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated. Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day? I'm just not with all that freaky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff.
50 Cent and Eminem hate Diddy.
She acknowledged that, yeah, I sent those messages. But she also added some important context. Her repeated use of the phrase like, at the time, became a shield, a reminder to the jury that relationships, especially toxic ones, can evolve and become abusive slowly, insidiously. And this is what makes the defense's strategy so risky. They're throwing around sexy texts in an attempt to erase years of alleged abuse, drug use, manipulation, and of course, the blackmail. But Cassie continues on the stand and she's standing firm under pressure, asserting what might have seemed like consensual at the time and on the surface, but in reality, it was a relationship fueled by control, addiction, and fear. Well, then things actually got very tense, like extremely tense. By midday, the judge had clearly had enough. With the jury on a lunch break, he reprimanded the defense for dragging out the cross-examination and not sticking to the trial schedule. He reminded them that Cassie is 8 months pregnant, actually 8.5 months pregnant, and can give birth any day. And he also warned that if they didn't wrap up the questioning soon, they could actually face medical consequences. So when the defense casually mentioned that they need the rest of today and all of tomorrow, the judge snapped on them. He said, "This is the exact opposite of what I was told. This witness needed to be off the stand by the end of this week." So what happened? His frustration could be felt by everyone. You could feel all of the tension in the room. The defense attorneys, well, they just started shuffling papers and trying to figure it out. But the prosecutors, they stood stoic and they watched everything quietly. I'm sure they felt like this was a victory moment. Now, the moment had some very serious implications. The judge hates surprises, especially in high-profile trials. The longer Cassie stays on the stand, well, the more she's going to get sympathy. And she may gather more from the jurors who see her as a victim of this alleged abuse, especially with her so pregnant. And Cassie is making sure that she's wearing tightly fitted outfits so that you can see her pregnant belly.
And the judge was correct. Diddy's lawyer was trying to be abusive towards her.
Put garlic in your ear and see what happens. The result will surprise you. I'm sure this tip will be a complete novelty for you. But once you discover the reason behind it, I bet you'll want to try it immediately. After all, it's extremely simple to do and can bring incredible benefits. Garlic is one of the most popular ingredients in the world, widely used in cooking to add flavor to food. However, what many people don't know is that it also has powerful properties that go far beyond the kitchen. And that's exactly what I'm going to reveal in this video. Before I tell you why you should put garlic in your ear, let me show you some other incredible uses for this powerful ingredient. If you struggle with acne, garlic can help eliminate it. Thanks to its antifungal, antibacterial, and antiseptic properties, it fights the bacteria responsible for acne. To use it, simply crush a few garlic cloves, mix them with a little water, and apply them to your skin. After a few minutes, rinse well. The result? Cleaner and healthier skin. If you suffer from dandruff, this tip will be a game changer. Grate 4 garlic cloves, mix them with a tablespoon of olive oil, and let the mixture sit for 1 or 2 days. Then, apply it to your scalp. Massage well, and leave it on for 30 minutes before washing your hair as usual.
Man.
With continuous use, dandruff will gradually disappear. If you have a cold, garlic can be your best friend. Just chop a clove of garlic, place it in a cup of hot water, let it sit for 5 minutes, strain, and drink it. This natural remedy helps relieve cold symptoms and speeds up recovery. Now that you know some amazing uses for garlic, it's time to reveal the trick of putting garlic in your ear. If you suffer from ear pain, this tip can help you quickly and naturally. All you need to do is chop 2 garlic cloves and place them in a pan with a tablespoon of olive oil. Heat them over medium heat until they turn golden brown. Once they reach this point, turn off the heat and transfer the liquid to a container. When it cools down, soak a piece of cotton in the oil and place it in your ear for about 3 minutes. This will help relieve ear pain, which is usually caused by inflammation or infection.
Wow.
This method was widely used by our grandmothers, but unfortunately, it has been forgotten over time. Besides offering numerous health benefits, garlic is also an excellent ally for treating ear problems. That's it. If you liked this tip, go ahead and try it out. A big hug, and I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you so much, sir.
You can literally get
AI, sir.
anything you want in this life if you can learn to master communication. I listened to all 2.5 hours of this podcast. You don't have to. This is attorney Jefferson Fisher, also known as the speaking coach. Here's everything you need to know. 1, learn to pause and breathe when someone is asking you something. So instead of, how was your day? Oh, it was really good. How was your day? It's, how was your day? It was really, really good, actually. I had a great day. How was your day? It shows that you're actually listening to what's being asked of you and you're really present. Train yourself to communicate in this space of pausing and really listening instead of going on autopilot. Whatever you say next, the other person is going to be much more interested in. 2, people with low self-esteem start sentences with, hey, so say things with confidence and say things that are going to push the conversation forward. So instead of, hey, do you think you have time to help me with this? It's, do you think you can help me with this? You don't get confident in your communication conversation before you start communicating. Confidence is as assertive does. When you force yourself to use your assertive voice and take out all those filler nervous words, then you're gonna gain confidence. 3, people that are the least connected are the ones that feel like they always have to put their 2 cents in. These are the same kind of people that love to name drop. Insecurity is loud, confidence is quiet.
Wow.
4, the more concise you can be, the better. Every single time. This is a trait of super successful people. They're not sending super formalized, wordy, laboriously written emails. Short and to the point, like text messages. 5, if you're ever in a disagreement with someone, always come at it from a place of trying to connect with them instead of trying to prove your point. Some of the best things you could say to someone are things like, you can absolutely disagree with me. I am not trying to change your mind. Something I personally say is, this is
That's a
just
good
my
one.
opinion and my advice. You can do whatever you want with it. I'm not pushing anything on you. Go to part 2 if you want to hear the rest.
Insecurity is loud, confident is quiet. I love that. So true.
Let me show you a scientifically proven glitch in the matrix that occurs when we follow a very simple pattern. First, we start with a single point, what we call 0 dimensions. Next, I add another point and connect them together, creating a 1-dimensional line. And I'll do this again by connecting 2 1D lines together to create a 2-dimensional square. Okay, and then well, to create a 3D object, now we actually have to start manipulating the plane that I'm explaining this on. Okay, so I've created a cube, and you can actually see that it's just 2 squares connected through the 3rd dimension. Okay, cool. And now I'll just get 2 cubes, connect the points together, and I'll get... Wait. What the fuck is the 4th spatial dimension? You, me, Prince Andrew, we all live in a reality consisting of 3 spatial dimensions. Left, right, forwards, backwards, and up and down. As well as a single time dimension that only goes in one direction. Don't fucking ask why that's a different video, please. So we can never imagine the 4th spatial dimension.
What exactly is the glitch? I don't get it.
Everything in here has been taken from some place where people are either killed or maimed or so many ways. So it's tragic for me, you know, to even go in. People are very, very interested in the museum. And there's some people that are afraid to even go in. Right here is a conjuring mirror. Everything and anything in here we have investigated. Don't ever touch anything. And if you do, let me know. This is the worst thing in here. It's that doll. I'm not gonna stare at it though.
And that's the one that's sort of depicted a little bit in this movie, correct?
Yes, it is. That's.
And they got Annabelle on the wall too, like she's Beyonce.
Did you know that if you put your hand in a bowl of water and then add ice, open and close your hand for a minute, you can get rid of a headache in seconds? This is a Chinese secret that has been passed down from generation to generation. If your knees hurt a lot, do this with a spoon and some anti-slip lotion. Scrape the muscle upwards, extending your knee as you scrape. Do this for 3 minutes every day. This will help the muscles in your knee relax and relieve that nagging pain. Do this every day, and your knees will thank you. Did you know that if you do these movements daily, you will have stronger feet, as well as more flexibility, less pain, less fluid retention, less discomfort, and less swelling? What are you waiting for? Give your feet some love.
Okay, I'm gonna try.
Save this video and practice these exercises every day. Your feet will thank you. Do this exercise 3 times a day to relax the muscles in your face. You should do it like this, close to your ear. This will reduce wrinkles on your face and make you look younger. Are you enjoying these tips yet? Comment below if you already knew any of these. Do it today and you'll thank me later. Is your hair falling out a lot? Then do this massage. Just press this acupressure point for 3 minutes every day. This will help reduce hair loss and make your hair grow faster and stronger. Do it today and your hair will thank you. Now, pay close attention. Do this exercise on each hand for 3 minutes, and it will eliminate pain in your back, shoulders, and spine. Do this sensitivity exercise for 5 minutes when you wake up and 5 minutes before going to bed. It will help slow down brain aging, give you more mental agility, improve concentration, and increase your attention. Start practicing it for 5 minutes, and you'll soon notice the changes. When I discovered this, my routine changed completely. 4 benefits of drinking a glass of water. A glass of water helps you wake up and activates your internal organs. A glass of water 30 minutes before meals helps with digestion. A glass of water before bathing helps improve blood pressure. A glass of water before bed helps prevent strokes and heart attacks. If you incorporate this into your life for just 3 minutes a day, you will feel the difference in a week. Did you already know about these benefits? Now that you know all these secrets, don't keep them to yourself. Try it today and share it with those you love. Kisses, and see you in the next video with more natural secrets.
I'm going to start do the brain thing and the ear and the knee.
Over 18,000 people have HIV in Philadelphia. Over 40,000 people have HIV either in North Carolina or South Carolina. I'm not sure. It's one or the other. I'm not sure. But I just recently saw a video of a girl saying that it was recorded to have, I believe, over 200,000 people had HIV in Texas. And the girl was saying like it was an event, a big event that happened. A lot of shit was going on. A lot of people got tested after that event. And 200,000, they recorded 200,000 people. 200,000 people. I just keep on saying it because my brain keeps on getting fucked up by it.
Please be careful out there, folks.
You think the earth flat or round? I done went around this motherfucker a few times. I think this motherfucker's a rectangle.
That's it. Really, I'm thinking about the globe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rectangle.
What's that state that's all the way at the bottom? The state that's at the bottom? Alaska. So if I fly a plane down, I would have to be flying upside down.
But it's the equator. It's the something where they got where you go under. Is that the equator? Is that the word I'm talking about? Where's Alaska?
Alaska is above the equator.
It's on the top.
Top left.
Okay.
Towards it. What you're thinking about is Antarctica?
Yeah, that's
Antarctica.
what I'm talking about.
Okay, Antarctica. Hold on, so what did we say? Asia?
The
North Pole up top and the South Pole.
What's Santa Claus living in?
North Pole.
Nigga, you believe in Santa Claus, nigga?
Snoop say he thinks the world is rectangle.
Is anybody hungry? I just feel like everybody's got to be hungry right now. Good. I was hoping you'd say that because I have this crazy idea that I will order pizza. And so if I do, I don't want it to go to waste. Who will eat pizza?
I'm going to need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes.
Who's that?
From the pizza. All the boxes. Okay. Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about. Yeah. Did Jay reach out yet? Nah, Bob. He ghosted.
Wow. What are you doing, Justin? We all know what pizza means. I hope everybody okay. Oh. There are people there on the ship. It is obvious that the ship is going backward with the current. They probably lost power.
Put a little salt on a lemon and your neighbors will want to know the secret. Stop spending money on scented candles and diffusers that lose their scent the same day. With salt and 2 other ingredients, I'm going to show you a trick that the most expensive houses in the world use to keep everything smelling good. Have you ever noticed how rich people's houses always have a nice smell in the air? Well, that's no coincidence. It's a simple trick. While many people spend money on air fresheners that lose their scent in a few hours, there are people using an old, easy, and cheap secret. When you try it, you'll ask yourself, why haven't I tried this before? Lemons have a power that almost no one talks about. Take one and cut it crosswise, but don't separate the pieces. The magic begins now. Throw 2 spoons of coarse salt right in the middle. This makes the lemon scent stronger and spread throughout the house. It's as if you had turned on a natural diffuser, only without spending almost anything. Then comes the trick, 2 spoons of alcohol. This is what makes the perfume last longer. Instead of disappearing the same day, it will stay for days. And the more you repeat this trick, the more your home will have that scent that makes you want to smell it again. Now pay attention, because there are 3 ways to use this, and each one has a different effect. The first is the guest style. That scent that impresses as soon as the person enters. Just add a few drops of your favorite essence. It can
It's
be
like a half
lavender
bottle.
or whatever you have around. It will seem like your home was prepared for an important guest. The second version is more for use in the bedroom or bathroom. After preparing the base with lemon, salt, and alcohol, you add a capful of fabric softener. The one you love, you know? The result is a fresh-washed smell in the air.
Ooh.
And the best part, it lasts for hours. The third is the anti-mosquito version, great for use near windows and doors. Here you put a handful of cloves. In addition to the delicious and different smell, the mosquitoes disappear as if by magic. It's as if you had installed an invisible repellent. Want to know where to put it to have the most effect?
Wow.
In the bathroom, the smell changes everything. It gives the impression of a clean, fragrant place, like a hotel bathroom. In the bedroom, it helps you relax. Many people have told me that they even sleep better. And be prepared. Your neighbors will come up with excuses to come over to your house just to smell it. But does it really work? I've been using this for over 2 years. And every time I do it, it seems like my house feels lighter. I know several people who stopped buying expensive air fresheners after trying this trick. It's simpler, cheaper, and really works. Want to try it? Try it today and tell me tomorrow. Finally, the most important thing. Don't put it off. Grab a lemon now and try the simplest version. In 10 minutes,
You
your
mean
house
lime?
will smell so good that everyone will notice it. Hugs to everyone and see you next time.
I might actually try this.
Donald Trump's 4-day tour of the Middle East has just wrapped, so here's all of the wild shit that went down. His first stop was Saudi Arabia on Tuesday, where he secured a massive $600 billion commitment from Saudi Arabia to invest in the US. And Saudi also signed the largest defense deal in history, purchasing a staggering $142 billion of US arms. That same evening, he lifted all sanctions on Syria. Trump explained that he wants Syrians to have a chance at success. And keep in mind how big of a deal that is, because that ends a staggering 46 years of US sanctions. Israeli officials, however, weren't very happy, and they described the move as risky. Trump's next stop in the Middle East, Qatar, was even more groundbreaking because he became the first US president to make an official visit to the nation ever. He received a ceremonial fighter jet escort, he was greeted by camels, and even had a motorcade to the palace that included Cybertrucks and cavalry. Trump particularly liked the camels, though.
We appreciate those camels. I haven't seen camels like that in a long time.
Qatar agreed to a huge deal with Boeing, purchasing 210 jets for $96 billion,
Wow.
the largest order in the company's history. And then the two countries agreed to a deal which the White House described as a historic $1.2 trillion economic commitment from Qatar. And then to top it off, during this visit, he told the press that he wants to take Gaza and turn it into a freedom zone. And there's also talk of Trump signing a nuclear deal with Iran. Not too sure how Israel's feeling about those two either. And then today, Trump visited the UAE for his last stop, where he was given a massive traditional welcome. The US agreed to sell the UAE 500,000 of NVIDIA's most advanced chips every year, which will likely help make the UAE a global leader in artificial intelligence. The Atlantic Council said there has never been a US presidential visit to the Middle East like this one.
Bro's the biggest businessman ever.
Justin Bieber has just posted this video of him eating pizza and tagged P. Diddy in it. He's also tagged the P. Diddy trial in it. He used the same video that P. Diddy used for his freak-offs to record people. And I don't know what he's trying to say. I don't know if Bieber is trying to say that he knows what happened at these freak-offs or he was involved in these freak-offs, but there is something really, really, really weird about this.
I want to know why he isn't testifying against him.
So I've been in India for the last 5 days, and I was just in Germany and Amsterdam last week. We've been chasing down the trail of one of America's most infamous criminals that got away. This is a guy that was abusing children in America. He fled the country, and we've been able to track where he went from America, which includes Germany, Amsterdam, all throughout Europe, England. We visited some of his spots, like interviewed people that had seen him and had encountered him there, and we chased him all the way here to India, where tomorrow we're going to be speaking with victims of his from the middle of nowhere here in India. It has been absolutely insane. But I'm saying all this because we're not going to have a video tomorrow on Monday. I have been editing, but I just won't be able to get it done, I don't think, until Tuesday. So everybody, please bear with me. This project has been absolutely insane and so rewarding, terrifying, exciting, fulfilling. And yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday with a new video. It's super exciting. It's the Black Swan Inn. I don't have a video there. I had to take down my last one from years ago, but we were joined by Elton and Overnight. They actually invited us out, so it's an incredible video. But yeah, watch out for the trailer tomorrow, and then I'll see y'all on Tuesday once I have just a little bit extra time to edit and make this video perfect. Anyways, y'all, good night.
Wow, that's impressive. Be careful, man.
And this is a simple law that states the most dangerous enemy doesn't attack you, it protects you.
What?
And what that means is, well, you know when someone tells you to slow down, to take it easy, to stop trying so hard? It always sounds like support, right?
Yep.
Like they're trying to protect you. But really, they're trying to protect themselves because they can't stand to see you grow past them. Now compare that to someone who competes with you, someone who's always trying to do better, not to bring you down, but to push themselves forward. One respects you, the other tries to hold you back. And so if you want to know if somebody has envy, don't look at who's competing with you, look at who's trying to keep you comfortable.
Move in silence.
Want to change your life? Always put salt in your water. It's incredible.
Every time you drink water?
Yeah, I'd say almost all of the time there is salt in my water, or electrolytes with sodium. There's a whole conversation we can have about salt. But raising blood volume by putting salt in your water is a really good idea, especially if you take a vasodilator. And this is good in the bedroom or in the gym.
Did you know? Okay, you mean sea salt, right? Not table salt. Great tips, simple yet effective ways to make life easier.
The first guy I ever had a crush on, he was like this like bisexual guy. He had a really hot brother, and we one time got drunk together, and he confessed to me that him and his brother were his parents weren't home.
Yeah, I fully think that's a thing with twins. I have like this
So
like crazy
wild.
thing that I think that twins, because I dated a set of twins, and I know for a fact that they're like,
so
because one was the top and one was the bottom, and they had this weird ass relationship, and I was like, the way y'all found this out was because y'all.
They did what? Sword fights?
The 3 FBI most wanted hackers in the USA. Number 3, Evgeny Bogachev. The FBI has a $3 million reward on his head, the highest ever for a cybercriminal. Bogachev created the Game Over Zeus botnet, which infected over 1 million computers worldwide, stealing more than $100 million. He once controlled victim bank accounts in 12 different countries simultaneously. Authorities believe he's hiding in Russia, living openly under Kremlin protection. Number 2, Park Jin-hyuk. Accused of the Sony Pictures hack and the $81 million bank cyber heist, Park is linked to North Korea's elite Lazarus Group, and the FBI is offering $2 million to anyone who lead to his arrest. The group
$2
allegedly
million?
made
That's
$2
it?
billion for the regime through cybercrime. Number 1, Alexei Balan. Wanted for hacking into Yahoo and stealing data from 500 million user accounts. He reportedly sold stolen credentials on dark web forums with over 1 billion views. Balan has been indicted in both California and New York but escaped capture 3 times. The FBI believes he once earned over $1 million in a single week from selling hacked database access.
There's a division in Saudi, it's government sanctioned, it's official, where they go and they chase down these magicians who are suspected of doing black magic. They'll go, they'll chase them down, and they'll explain how and why the sihr has been done. For example, the magician, he got a page of the Quran, stitched them together, used a bit of animal bone, animal fat, fur, stitched it into the page of the Mus'haf, and he threw it in the sewers. You want to bury it, you want to hide it in places so that they can't find it, because the way to break the black magic is you need to get what they use to cast the sihr.
Burn it, right?
Burn it or deal with it somehow. So he hid it in the sewers. He was showing the process, because once you're covered, in Islam, the punishment is very severe for black magic. If you're found guilty of it, it's very, very severe. So before they dealt the punishment to him, they said, your time on earth is short-lived, you're finished, you just show us what you did. So he's recreating it for the cameras. He's showing that he went into a cave, he sat in his own feces, he got chickens, drew symbols, he sat there for about 3 days in that cave, summoning the jinn. Once the jinn arrived, the jinn gave him instructions, and then he passed it on to the person who came to him for the black magic. So they have this division where they chase down these magicians, and they have a military escort, because again, you're dealing with very powerful individuals. Magicians, they make a lot of money. If you have a girl that you want to marry, but she's already married, what you'll do is you'll contact a magician to cast black magic on a couple so they can break up. And it's even mentioned in the Quran, they won't learn anything aside from what comes between a man and his wife. So they get called out to a little village because he's suspected of being a black magician. They surround the guy's building and tell him, come out with your hands up. The guy understands if he's caught and he's found guilty, it's over for him. So he jumps out the back door and he flies on the road, starts sprinting. Now they're ready for him to run, they're chasing him down. As they're chasing him, the Sheikh described it as he begins to tilt forward as he's running. You know, you're hunched over, but he's keeping maximum speed. And then they noticed his feet are no longer touching the ground. He's just about this much off the ground. He's just floating through the air. They cannot catch him. So they call their driver, jump back in the car, they chase him down in the vehicle. And he's just being very agile because he's on foot there in a car, they're trying to catch him. And the Sheikh begins to read, and as he's reciting, he gets the Ayatul Kursi, which is a verse that jinns, they fear. And as soon as he finishes, the guy just drops like a stone. He's in the air, he just drops like a stone. He begins to tumble. The way he's spinning is very, very violent, like a fidget spinner, kicking up sand, dust. They apprehend him, they catch him. There's no interrogation. They saw with their own eyes a man flying. So he confesses and he says, I used 2 of my jinns. I commanded them to assist me. They were physically lifting him off the ground, carrying him away.
That's crazy.
And as soon as the Sheikh began reciting, they started to burn.
They dropped him.
Saved their skin, they left. They abandoned him. Are you gonna back your brethren? Them, and their answer was clear.
What's the punishment over there for black magic?
It's execution.
How do we know that this story is real? Hey, it's good for a movie though.
One of the most
disclaimer, the following clip is disturbing.
despicable cases that I've ever run across.
What this young woman survived was absolutely horrific.
Camden County prosecutor Grace McCulley describing a disturbing case of child abuse that she says went on inside of a home in Gloucester Township. The victim's mother, Brenda Spencer, and her husband, Brandon Mosley, are accused of holding Spencer's 18-year-old daughter captive and sexually abusing her for at least 7 years. The disturbing details include accusations that Spencer and Mosley forced the victim to live in a dog crate. They're also accused of locking her in a bathroom and also in an empty room with only a bucket for a toilet. To hide the abuse, prosecutors say Spencer and Mosley removed the victim from the 6th grade in 2018 under the guise of homeschooling. The victim finally escaped with the help from a neighbor on Thursday.
For homeschooling in New Jersey, Parents are only required to notify the school district of their intent to homeschool. Certainly, this case proves there's need to revamp and revisit those laws.
Spencer and Mosley are now charged with kidnapping, aggravated assault, and endangering the welfare of a child. Additionally, Mosley is charged with sexual assault. Prosecutors say the victim's 13-year-old sister also lived in the home.
It's evil. It's evil. It's actually villainous.
Jesus has to come soon. We're living in a sick, sick world.
I'm not saying this video is real, but if it is, we all have a reason to be concerned. One of my followers shared this video with me, and we both are skeptical in its authenticity. I've been saying for decades, the things out in these mountains, out in the wilderness, we have no idea. I'm just going to roll this. You be the judge. Let me know in the comments. Again, I'm not saying it's real. Probably not. You watch it, you decide, and let me know. Check this out.
Yo, what's that? Oh. I got you, buddy. Oh no. Wrong Turn. Have you seen that movie?
I believe that Cassie husband knew all of that, and she probably confided in him. She probably was confiding in him when he was just her personal trainer. He knew some of the stuff probably that she was going through. You know, it's just like if you got a chick that's a porn star, you know, she's a porn star, bro. If you got a chick that's a porn star, you know she done been through a lot of men. It's allegedly that Cassie went through a lot of men because Diddy orchestrated her to go through a lot of men. Because she didn't have this behavior prior to him. She even said that Diddy is the one who taught her how to do fellatios.
Fellatios.
She said that. So I'm like, he showed her? Did Diddy stop her and say, you're doing it wrong? And he started doing it himself and showed her how to do it? Yeah, that's just crazy, man.
He did know and still gave her, you know, the love she never had.
That your phone, an iPhone specifically, takes an infrared picture of you with your Face ID every 5-ish seconds, and we looked at it through an infrared camera, and it's pretty wild. Let's show you. Okay, have your home screen.
It's on the home screen.
Not touching anything.
No buttons.
Okay, infrared lens on the camera. Boom, there it was 1. 2. That's so wild. Okay, cover the camera. Oh, there's another one. Okay, nothing. Oh, it's trying. It's taking pictures of your finger. Okay, move your finger. Ready? Boom. Wild.
Okay, hey, but you know you can disable the face recognition and put a tape in front of your front camera.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Terry Perkins, and I would like to share with you my experience with taking genuine Essiac tea. It has been a real game changer for me. I have had stage 4 bladder cancer. It's been in my lymph nodes, 7-centimeter tumor, and I've had this for 2.5 years. I started taking Essiac tea about 6 months ago, and believe it or not, My last MRI, my tumor was fibrous. Couldn't even measure it. Amazing. The only thing that changed was taking the SEACT.
SEACT.
It was a real game changer for me. I hope it's a real game changer for you too. But I want to share this with everybody that'll listen because the SEACT is amazing. Hope it works for you.
In the heart of ancient Egypt stood a beacon of human knowledge, the Library of Alexandria. Founded in the 3rd century BCE under the reign of Ptolemy III, it aimed to collect every book in the world. Scholars believe it once housed over 400,000 scrolls covering science, philosophy, literature, and more. It wasn't just a library, it was a research institute, attracting thinkers from across the ancient world. Archimedes, Euclid, and Eratosthenes are all believed to have studied or taught there. But what happened to it remains a mystery. Some blame Julius Caesar's fire in 48 BCE, others point to later attacks or neglect. No matter the cause, its loss was catastrophic. Centuries of knowledge vanished forever. The Library of Alexandria remains a haunting symbol of human curiosity and how easily it can be destroyed.
It's like Google back in the day.
Candace Owens just said some of the craziest shit I done ever heard about NASA. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Y'all will not believe what she just said. Make sure y'all like the video, repost it, and watch the whole thing, cause nah, I ain't never think about this. Watch what she say.
Here's my bone to pick with Matt Walsh. We have a long-running beef on the topic of NASA and moon landings because he thinks they happened. And listen, when the guys did it, it was fake and gay. I'm sorry, Matt, and it's time for you to admit it. It was just as bad. You just weren't alive for it, okay? Homies were on the moon making phone calls before the time of cell phones. Like, hey, what's up, Prez? It's me. On the moon with the flag, no issues. First time we've ever flown this thing. Yeah, I don't know. We just got through the belt pretty easily. And until Matt Walsh accepts that the mission in '69 was also fake and gay, I don't care. I can't defend you. Even if I fully agree with you about Gayle King, I won't. I literally cannot defend you. Okay, you must come to terms with the fact that NASA and space missions have always been this fake and gay. You just weren't alive for the original ones, and you need to learn the history of NASA, of the Apollo programs, which were occult and satanic. It was literally meant to be an antichrist movement to make people believe in man. It's a fact. I'm going to show you guys. It's like, you can look this up anywhere. Look up Jack Parsons and
NASA in the Hebrew means deception.
Prophecy has been fulfilled in New York City. Many of you didn't believe me, but now it's too late. You have superstars like Jaylen Brown mentioning death. He should be confined and monitored for the next few days. This is only the transitioning phase, and we have yet to see the ultimatum. If the New York Knicks win the NBA championship, it will no longer be called New York City. Gotham City is upon us. People trying to steal wheels, and people going on top of Jumbotrons. I am scared for the fate and the well-being of my fellow New Yorkians. How can so much celebration bring so much destruction?
Right.
Why can there not be a balance? Why can there not be an equilibrium in this world?
Y'all better call the fucking National Guard! Nigga, all the National Guard! If we win the chip, NYPD, you do not have enough! NYPD, you not ready?
As you could clearly hear from this Good Samaritan, they do not have enough. There is not enough cops in NYC to stop what is about to happen. Stay strong, my fellow New Yorkians.
Why are they vandalizing then? Didn't they win? Aren't they happy?
County 911.
Hi, I killed my dad.
Who is this?
Kenneth Boone.
Kenneth Boone.
Kenneth? Kenneth, what's going on there?
Come lock me up.
You said you killed your dad?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
With a fucking hammer.
Okay, hold on just a moment, Kenneth. I'm going to get some help started that way for you. Where are you at right now? Okay. Well, listen, I do not want you to hurt anyone else. Are you able to put the hammer down?
Nope.
No.
Okay, hold on just a moment, all right? I'm getting some help started that way for you.
All right. You ready?
Huh? Kenneth, where are you at right now?
I'm at my house.
Where are you in the house?
In my fucking kitchen.
Okay. And where's your dad at?
He's on the fucking floor.
Is he in the kitchen as well?
No.
Okay. Do you think he's beyond any help? Do you think
I'm gonna finish my
Oh,
dad off
man.
right now.
What's that?
I'm gonna kill my fucking dad.
Did you say you were going to kill him, or you did kill him?
I'm going to right now.
I want you to go in another room. I know you're upset right now. Did you say you hit him with a hammer?
Yep.
Okay, I want you to go into another room. Is he still breathing? Kenneth, hello?
You know, the father had called 911 about his son's behavior after stopping his meds for mental illness. They didn't send anyone, and an hour later, the son called in. He got a life sentence.
Archaeologist Julio Tello discovered elongated skulls in Paracas, Peru, that defied human anatomy with larger cranial capacities. These mysterious skulls puzzled scientists for decades. In 2014, DNA tests revealed mutations never seen in humans, primates, or animals, linking them to haplogroup H2A, common in Eastern Europe.
Wow.
Similar skulls, dated 200 BCE to 1450 CE, were later found in regions like Nika and the Kolka Valley. To this day, the origins and purpose of these skulls remain an unsolved mystery, sparking endless curiosity and debate.
Wow. Okay.
You guys want to see Jeffrey Epstein's bedroom on the island? By the way, quick shout out, James O'Keefe. All credit to you and your media group, sir. I hope you're safe. I am only sharing these to try and draw as much attention to it as I can. Highly suggest all my people go follow James on all his platforms. But without further ado, here is Jeffrey Epstein's bedroom on the island with some interesting details. He has a speed dial on his landline. Some interesting names on that phone. Check it out.
Epstein's bedroom. O'Keefe Media Group continues our exclusive tour of the private island formerly owned by the alleged sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, and looking inside each of the buildings on the island. Today we're going to bring you inside Jeffrey Epstein's bedroom. We've previously shown you the kitchen and the library, but in Epstein's bedroom we've made our most dramatic discovery yet. Landline telephones that show pre-programmed speed dial buttons, buttons labeled with names. You see the phones on the side of the bedroom tables here. We're going to take a look at these phones and the names on them. But first, the room itself, sparsely furnished. On the desk, you see what's known as a phrenology skull. Phrenology is a debunked pseudoscience linking skull shape to personality traits. On one bedside table, you see a notepad that says Little St. James, that's the name of the island, printed at the bottom of each page, and a set of reading glasses of similar type worn by Epstein in deposition footage. The most striking detail, we see a Panasonic console phone on each bedside table. The multiple lines are labeled. The speed dial buttons bear the names of Epstein's staff and associates. These are the individuals Epstein called most frequently from his private island. Nobody has ever seen these before. We assume the FBI and the Department of Justice has these, but have not released it. Here you have NY office, that's Jeff Epstein's New York City office. This is Karina Shuliak, Epstein's last girlfriend. Darren Off, that's Darren Indike, an Epstein advisor and lawyer. You have Rich Office, that's Richard D. Kahn, Epstein's advisor and lawyer. And Patrick Sell, that's Patrick McMullen, an Epstein associate. And STC Office, that's the Special Tax Office of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Here we have another phone that was actually in a different room, but we see some of the same names and some new names. We see a Carlos, a Danny, which looks to be scribbled out with Kim written above it, a Mike, an Anna, and a Juggly. Now, what's interesting about Juggly is at first we thought it was Ghislaine Maxwell's nickname, but from what we could see online, Her nickname, Epstein referred to her as G-Max. Don't know who Juggly is, but maybe you in the audience can help us solve that mystery.
Why is the electricity still on and everything so clean?
Scientists have created a paint so white that you will not need air conditioning in your house. And it'll also ask to see the manager. Let's continue. No, this is not your average eggshell white. No, this bounces sunlight better than any paint ever has. Yeah, so these scientists at Purdue created a paint so white that it took everything out of its savings to fully fund an indie film on Kickstarter. No, but seriously, this paint is so white because it reflects 98% of sunlight. So it doesn't actually just kind of keep cool, it actually cools the surface that it's on. So during the tests, when they painted this on the wall, it was actually 8 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than even the surrounding air.
Wow.
And that was without any sort of air conditioning and in the noon sun, which makes this paint so white that it's about to have an unseasoned beef taco night. So what makes this paint so white is the fact that they use something called barium sulfate. Now that scatters sunlight like an absolute friggin' boss, basically making it SPF infinity. So there you guys go. There's the facts on a paint so white that it'll travel 5 hours for a pickleball tournament. I'd like to hear in the comments below what you guys think, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Interesting.
You're not lazy, you're not unmotivated, you're not tired because you need more sleep. You're tired because your soul is exhausted from living a life that's out of alignment with who you really are. Every day you wake up and put on a mask, saying what you're supposed to say, doing what you're expected to do, ignoring the part of you that knows you're meant for more. That's not just emotional burnout, it's energetic misalignment. Because when you're living out of sync with your purpose, your energy drains fast. Your body resists. Your nervous system sends signals, this isn't it. But when you step into alignment, even if you're working harder, you feel lighter. You feel alive. So maybe the problem isn't your work ethic. Maybe it's your frequency. Stop asking, how do I push harder? Start asking, where am I not being true to me?
They're doing it again. They throw out a bunch of big celebrity names and things that people already know in hopes they forget what they're really looking for. If you haven't figured it out, the juror selection for the Diddy case started on Monday, and yesterday the judge came out with this list of potential celebrities that could be in it.
Including celebrities like Kanye West, Kid Cudi, Mike Myers, and Michael B. Jordan. It is unclear, though, if and how they are related to this case. Yesterday, we spoke with attorney Lisa Bloom, who represents a government witness she says is likely to testify in Combs' criminal trial.
See, it's that last part we can't forget. There's so much bigger fish to fry than Diddy involved in this whole thing. Matter of fact, the people that we're going to talk about in this video involved with Diddy were involved with another person in Diddy's position that's not here anymore. But we'll get to that. This is Ron Burkle, American businessman, co-owner of the hockey team, the Penguins, and founder of the Ukaiba companies. See, Ron here's like the missing link, because when you put it in, it paints a pretty vivid picture. See, Ron's not only business partners, but he's also friends with Diddy. They're such good friends that Ron is the reason that Diddy's clothing line, Sean John, even got off the ground. They even had one of Diddy's birthday parties at Ron's house.
Imagine the hotels, hospitals, and emergency services that were involved with covering things up, not just labs.
If you have this ability, which you do, I'm not sucking up, it's just, again, it's provable, to put together a picture, an extraordinarily accurate picture of what the future holds. Like, what does that do to you? How do you sleep and how do you live? And why haven't you totally destroyed yourself? Those are kind of not thoughts that most people, including me, are burdened with and don't really want to be burdened with. But how do you turn off the visions of the future in your head?
Well, I mean, I appreciate you saying nice things about me, and obviously God gives us all different gifts, and I do have some gifts. But I think a lot more people have these gifts than really realize it.
But you can prove it. That's why I've obviously we're friends, and I like you as a man. But you can prove it in a way that others can't because it's on tape. So it's not really debate. Has Alex Jones had more accurate predictions of the future than any living person in the world that I know of? we can prove that. We don't have to argue about it. I've got the freaking tape. So again, it's not even a compliment. It's just an observation. And I don't know why I seem to be the only person who's obsessed with this. Like, how did this guy predict this? No, everyone's like, oh, he's crazy. Okay, maybe he's crazy, but he predicted this.
We have massive news on the Epstein case. So James O'Keefe, anybody who is breaking his balls on X about that initial release about Prince Andrew needs to go apologize to him right now. And I mean like right now. And I think I know exactly what's going on here, because since he released the original video, and if you guys didn't see that, there's no reason, there's no need to show that one. But a few days ago, he released a hidden video that showed one of the royal family advisors, very famous as very, deep connection with the royal family. And he was at a dinner, and he admitted that Prince Andrew had, in fact, been sleeping with tons of underage girls with Jeffrey Epstein. So, and everyone was like, we already knew this, dude. You hyped it up like that. You were hyping it up like that. James O'Keefe, he was getting hammered on X. So then he released another video, which we will also watch in this one, which was Pam Bondi at a lunch, who was specifically saying that they had gone through tens of thousands of videos, and the reason it was taking so long is because there's all these little kids on the videos, okay? Now, I have a theory about that particular video, because I personally am going to hypothesize, I think it is Pam Bondi and Kash Patel leaking these videos to James O'Keefe, okay? How is he getting these? Because now, let me tell you what we got today. The very first look at Epstein Island for real, like inside one of the buildings. And when you see what is on this video, okay, I cannot stress this enough. What they're doing is they're easing us into this, okay? That is my very, very confident hypothesis, is this is going to be so much darker than people realize. I even knowing as much as I knew about the background of all this stuff, I don't think I had fully grasped like where this was going to go. This is the first time that I do now. After seeing this video, we're going to go through it now, and then I'm going to show you a bunch of previous stuff that is going to connect a lot of dots of how deep and how dark this is really going to go. We're talking worst case scenario is my anticipation here in terms, anyway. So if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. And if you're not new, welcome back. I love you guys. I appreciate my subscribers and all of my viewers. Like this video if you don't mind, and let's jump right into it. This is going to get dark.
O'Keefe Media is releasing never-before-seen footage from inside the buildings on Jeffrey Epstein's island. The island, known as Little St. James, is located in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Drones have flown overhead in the past, independent journalists have snuck ashore, but no footage or images from inside these buildings has ever been published until...
Ask Mark Henry. He knows what goes on there. He's pals.
I don't know the answer to that. I'm telling you.
You haven't read the Constitution?
It says all persons. I've got it right here, but what you're saying is that every single one of the illegals that was sent down to El Salvador is supposed to be given due process pursuant.
Yeah, that's what the Constitution says. It says
doesn't
no person.
say that.
It does say no person. Yeah, I'll encourage you to read it, because it's also been affirmed by the Supreme Court repeatedly on the case of Miranda versus Arizona, held the right of all individuals, regardless of citizenship status, the Supreme Court in Reno versus Flores. But it's the plain language of the Constitution. It concerns me that you're not familiar with the core concept of due process applying to all persons as written in black and white in the Constitution.
As the first public defender who's ever served the FBI as its director, I am more aware of due process than any predecessor in my seat. You are delineating between removal proceedings and criminal acts. My job is to investigate criminal acts. That's what we do.
You are aware that the Fifth Amendment refers to taking away liberty, and when people are arrested on the street, detained and sent out of the country, that their liberty has been taken away.
Senator, that is a constitutional question that you are asking me to answer. It's not for me to answer.
The question has already been answered by the Supreme Court that they're protected. Therefore, it's a violation of law, and it's your responsibility to open an investigation. You're saying today you will not do so?
I am not the agency involved in removal proceedings. That is a different branch of government.
So if an agency other than the FBI violates the law and the Constitution, you will not investigate because it's a different agency?
I will investigate every violation of law.
Well, you have, but you just said you're not investigating.
No. You and I are in disagreement on what is a violation of law. I have yet to hear from the Supreme Court your position as you have adjudicated it.
Well, very, very interesting, because the Supreme Court's been very clear, and I had heard you were trained in the law, so I expected maybe you would try to uphold it. You also took an oath to the Constitution.
Thank you for the reminder.
Well, it's important to remind you, since you're apparently unfamiliar with the very basics of the core protection of freedom in our Constitution.
What I am familiar with is protecting the American public, and that's what...
Let me close with one question, Mr. Chairman. Will you make sure that due process in every action of the FBI is completely honored under your time as director?
Will I ensure that due process is followed?
Yes.
Under the Constitution?
Completely. Send that message throughout the FBI that due process must be followed, is constitutionally required. Make sure that it's done under your direction.
Sure.
Great. Thank you.
Senator McConnell.
I have a question. Isn't it the Constitution applies only to American citizens? Let me know in the comment, please.
When God is creating Adam and Eve in Genesis 1:28, God said, "Come, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness." Who's us and our? Was God talking to himself? Later on, the scripture says, God said, "Here man has become as one of us, knowing good and evil." The point is, who is God talking about? Who's us? Who's our? Well, it's Elohim, the gods. So consequently, what we're talking about here is that the gods created us, created the heavens and the earth and all things on it. But interesting, in Genesis 1:2 says, "And the earth was without form and void." That's another mistranslation. In the original, it does not say that the earth was without form and void. Actually, it says, "And the earth became a waste and a desolation." Not form and void, but waste and desolation.
As is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
I just spoke with a friend this morning and let him know that it was time to speak up, to speak about the truth, the things that are happening and the things that will come. No more time for living in Candyland, sugar-coated stories. It's time to reveal the truth of what is to come and what will happen. It is time to stand for what you know is right, for what you know is the truth. People will try to stop you, but the truth will always get out. I also told my friend that I can no longer hold this in, and the truth must be told, no matter the outcome. I will stand for what is right. I will stand for the truth, and I will stand for my father. Some will be imprisoned, some martyred, for the word and the truth. And it is time to start revealing that. I can no longer be silent about what I know. I can no longer be silent from what I've seen. All glory be to God as I start this journey to reveal the truth. My job is to warn others. Wake up. And if you don't want to listen, I will move on and warn others, as instructed by my Father. I know others feel this, and it's time for you to speak the truth as well. For you and I know what is coming. The time for silence is over. Let the truth be told. Remember, God loves you. Jesus died to save you, and he's coming back. Fear not, for he is with you.
This is coming sooner than we think.
You're too cold.
Yeah, because I think that emotions most of the time doesn't help us to deal with something. Of course, emotions is like the spices for your life, but when you have some hard situation, you shouldn't use your emotions.
Ooh.
This is how I think.
You know, being able to separate yourself from your emotions and thoughts in times of crisis is a superpower not everyone can achieve.
This is the most evil generation since the inception of man.
worse than the flood, worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that we can instantly communicate with everybody around the world, and we are propagating sin in a way we never used to. If you wanted to have a sexual sin, you had to go do it with somebody. But now we can just open a phone and do things on the phone. And Los Angeles is #1 exporter of pornography to the whole world. We should be not only ashamed of that statistic as Americans, but fearful for the kind of things that they're opening up to the country with that kind of filth with the demonic world. And then you look at the rest of Hollywood. I just saw Nicole Kidman has a new movie coming out who alleges to be Catholic. They almost gave it an X rating in our day and age. Imagine that. So they had to cut stuff to get it down to R. But she has a preoccupation. It's having an affair, but also preoccupation with sex with animals. So we're going to a whole new level. And this is a mainstream film.
Nicole Kidman will stand before God.
These are evil, evil people. You don't want to know what these people do, man.
This is Edward Reardon and his response after remote viewing Diddy.
This is stuff out of like the Aztec kingdom. You know, the Aztecs where they would have thousands of people lined up and they'd climb up the thing and they'd lay on an altar and they'd tear their heart out by a couple thousand a day. I mean, this is like that level of evil.
Wow. You know, like the apocalyptic movie.
One day we're driving and I see some fool that looks exactly like me. He had a big ass mustache and he had a tattoo on his face right here. And when I seen this fool, I knew it. I told my sister, that's my dad. When I tell her, hey, that's my dad, she looks at me like, what the f? What you mean that's your dad, you know? And I'm like, turn around. She don't want to turn around. So finally I'm telling her, so she flips her. We go back, we can't find him. And I'm mad, I'm hurt. I'm mad because I wanted to meet this man, dog, you know? And for we're gonna pull into the store. He comes out the liquor store, right? So I walk up to him like, "What's up?"
What's up?
He's like, "What's up, youngster?" I'm like, I said, "Are you Turi from Clover?" And he goes, "Simon." I'm like, "My name's Richard Torres. I'm like, my mom's little gata." I'm like, "You're my dad." And then he just looked at me and he stared at me and he gave me a hug. And he said, "I always knew about you, Mimo. I always wanted to meet you." So I'm like, he looked homeless though, right? So I'm like, I said, "Hey man, you hungry?" And he said, "I could eat." I'm like, "What you want to eat?" He said, "I heard the McRib is back in town."
McDonald's marketing is unmatched.
People say vampires are a metaphor for seductive people. Check this out. Let me break it down. Ready?
Because the neck, when you kiss on the neck, that's very
like seductive.
Yeah.
Oh, that too. First off, vampires usually wear what color?
Black and white?
Black and red. It's scientifically proven when you wear black and red, you're more seductive. What do guys usually wear when they try to risk people up? Black.
All
what
black.
do girls wear? Red dresses. Now check this out. It gets even crazier. Ready?
Yeah.
What are vampires afraid of? Garlic, right?
Okay.
What's like a turn off, especially to like women?
Breath?
Bad breath. Garlic breath. That checks out. You can only invite a vampire into your home.
Okay.
Yeah, so like you know when like you bring somebody home after the club, you can only invite one of them home. It's a metaphor for somebody trying to seduce you in like a social setting. People took it a step further and say it's almost like succubus.
Succubus.
They kiss your neck and then you become one. You're gonna go out into the club and continue that cycle of, oh, let me pick up somebody.
That's too.
All right.
Two burglars with hundreds of burglaries on their record made a big mistake when choosing a house to break into in Florida. Garfield Morgan, 54 years old, and his 36-year-old accomplice Kim Gorton entered the house in search of profit, the owner of which was none other than Harry, nicknamed
The Wolf.
Just at that moment, he found himself at home, and it was then that the poor fellows learned that the formidable owner had spent 10 years behind bars. This 120-kilogram predator received a sentence for repeatedly raping guys he liked.
What?
An angry gay man decided to punish the burglars in his own way, using them as sex toys. And only 5 days later, the police rescued them from the clutches of the rapist, after neighbors heard cries for help coming from the basement. Many online commentators argue that they deserve retribution for their crimes, but a prison sentence would be enough for them. 5 days in captivity of a predatory gay man. Isn't it too harsh? Today, both burglars are charged with burglary, and Harrington will have to answer to the law for what he did. Apparently, he will go back to prison, where, in all likelihood, he will continue his path as a rapist.
For once in my life, I almost feel sorry for the bad guys.
Isolated himself during a recess from his attorneys for about 10 minutes. And that they were all standing at least a couple of feet away from him. So he's over there fuming, And then one by one, he calls each one over individually and berates them, like snarling and getting loud and just really dramatic. You could see it on his face. This is what people are reporting. So he's reprimanding his own defense team. Now, of course, he is the client. He's paying millions of dollars for this defense. He's bringing in 1,000 different lawyers for different things. So I can understand him being upset, but the evidence is the evidence. They have what they have to work with. I don't know if he's hoping they can manufacture something, if they can spin a better narrative, but these are top attorneys. So if they're not able to do it, the only person he should be pissed at is himself. Another little tidbit about this, not only was he berating them and showing himself being visibly pissed off, but he was actually calling them derogatory names, cussing them out. Yes. I mean, we expect that from Diddy. If you ever watched Making the Band back in the day, you could see back then what a disgusting man he was, how derogatory he would speak to people, the names he would say, the things he would have them do. He had one time some of these kids who were trying to make it into one of his bands and become artists, become stars, walk from Manhattan, where they were staying, all the way to Brooklyn to, I believe, what's the cheesecake place? I forget the name of it. I've actually eaten there before, the one they have now in Times Square. It was only in Brooklyn then, but they now have different locations. But he had them walk all the way there, across a bridge, miles, in order to get some cheesecake. It later came out, years later, this came out recently, that cheesecake was actually for Beyonce. Now, we don't know that Beyonce demanded this cheesecake. She may have just said she wanted cheesecake. Someone could have drove over and gotten her some cheesecake. But instead, he had these kids walk there, get the cheesecake, and then they didn't even want the cheesecake when it was done. So he's used to berating people, having them do what he wants, and cussing them out, which he would do on that show. But we've seen this multiple times from Diddy, multiple reports, witnesses, people who have been subjected to this, that this is how Diddy operates, even in business. Even in business situations, he will do this. And imagine, he's on trial, and he's cussing out his attorneys. Is that supposed to help them, give him a better defense? It makes no sense, but it's in par with his personality type, and he just can't see himself. Now, this next one, it was the judge having to reprimand the defense team over delay tactics. So I brought you how the judge was pissed off. Well, he confronted the defense for failing to adhere to an agreed timeline for Cassie's cross-examination. And like I said, because she's heavily...
How did Diddy let Cassie surf off and walk away like that and get married? Did she pay him? I don't think, Diddy will let her go easily though.
The world is made up of people with either killer instincts or without killer instincts. And the people that seem to emerge all the time, it doesn't mean they're the best people, and it doesn't mean they're the happiest people. And in fact, in many cases, and in most cases, they're probably not. But the people that seem to emerge are the people that are competitive and driven and with a certain instinct to...
Yep, I'll prefer him in the White House.